Hey everyone, and thanks for joining our Hangout today. We are internationalstudentloan.com, and I am Victoria Truppi, a financial aid specialist here. And we wanted to put on this Hangout for you all because we get hundreds of questions from international students like you every single day, asking us about international student loans, how you can get them, and how to apply. And so we wanted to be able to invite you students on a Hangout with us to be able to ask us questions face-to-face and get answers. So thanks again for joining us. Be sure to write your questions into the Q&A bar on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll get to as many of those as we can today. So go ahead and start putting those in. Just to give you a short introduction to international student loans, there's some important things that you need to consider before you even start applying. The first thing to remember is that for an international student loan, you are going to need a cosigner. A cosigner must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the U.S., and they must have been in the U.S. for at least the past 2 years. They are also going to have a very good credit score as well, so keep that in mind. Also, what you'll need to know is you'll need to find a lender from a U.S. bank, or including a U.S. bank, that works with your school directly if you plan on studying there. And then you're also going to have to find a lender who works with international students specifically. So this can be tough for international students, and so what we've done here at International Student Loan is put together a comparison tool for you. So if you go to our website, which is just www.internationalstudentloan.com, there on the first page you'll see our comparison tool. Fill out your information, and then based on the school that you're planning to attend, we'll give you a list of lenders that work with that school specifically and that work with international students as well. This really makes the process easy for you so that you can go straight there and apply directly from there as well with the lenders. So that's what we've done, and so once you find a cosigner, the best time to apply for the loans is in July or August. That's when we have the most lenders on the site for more schools, and that's when you can get the best interest rates. But in the meantime, make sure you find that cosigner that's going to work for you, and then you can apply using the comparison tool on our homepage. So now that you guys have had a chance to enter your questions on the right-hand side of the Hangout, we'll go ahead and get started and answer some of your questions directly. The first one we have is from Emmanuel, and he says, I have already gotten admission at Walden University to study a Master's of Science in Instructional Design and Technology, and I need money to pay my tuition fee. How do I get a loan to be able to pay the fee? Well, Emmanuel, like I said, there are loans available, and if there are loans available for your school, they will be listed on our site. You can try to use the comparison tool, or you can go to our eligible schools list and try to find your school there. If they are there, you can see all the lenders that are lending for international students right now. If they're not on the list, unfortunately, we don't have any loans for them right now, so check back with us in July or August to see if lenders are lending at that time. Next question is from Jeremiah. He says, hi, I would like to know if there are corporate bodies in the USA who would give scholarships or loans to international students who do not have a social security number to study in the USA but have innovative inventions that can promote quality of life. That's a very interesting question, and it sounds really great. What you're going to be looking for as far as financial aid is a lender, not so much a corporation. A corporation could offer a scholarship specifically. You'd need to check with them directly, but you can apply for a loan to come and study in the U.S. if you need to. So be sure to check out the comparison tool on our website for that as well. Our next question is from Michael, and he says, I have tried several times to use your site to find a student loan, but the answer from the site goes like, quote, based on the information that you provided, we are unable to match you with private loan options for Mountain Mercy College. So, Michael, unfortunately, we don't have any lenders lending for your college right now, but don't worry, you can check back with us in July and August, even September, and if there's any lenders available at that time, they'll be listed up on the site. So check back with us then to see if there's any available for you. Marjorie says, what are the responsibilities of being a cosigner, and what documents should a cosigner provide? Now, a cosigner is signing the loan with you and is expected to take over payments if for some reason you cannot pay. So it's a very big responsibility for a cosigner to sign with you. They're really responsible for your financial burden in that case. The different documents that they must provide depend on the lender that you choose and depends on the application process. Some lenders will require more documentation than others, and they usually, if they need more information, will request it from you directly. So when you apply, you'll know a little bit more about what you're going to need. The next question comes from Prasad, and he says, I will be joining the University of Virginia at Charlottesville. Please let me know if I'm eligible for the loan. And I have a cosigner who stays in Texas and is a permanent resident. Kindly brief about the loan process. It's great that you found a cosigner. So next you'll need to double check with them, make sure that since they're a permanent resident that they have been in the U.S. for at least 2 years and that their credit is good and that they're willing to take on that responsibility for your financial burdens. Next question is from Craig. He says, I'm a South African student enrolled to begin my master's at NYU in the fall. I need to secure a loan to cover the remainder of my tuition and living expenses. I have a U.S. relative who has offered to co-sign on a loan. Do I need a social security number to get the loan? And the answer is no, you don't need to. As long as you have the co-signer and he meets all of the requirements, then you can apply without the social security number. Some lenders have an application online that allow you to continue it without the social security number. Others you will have to contact directly to get a paper application or some form of application that doesn't require you to put the social security number on it, since it's not as common as a regular loan would be for a U.S. citizen that has a social security number. So just contact your lender directly in that case to get the correct documents to fill out. Next, I'm a permanent resident in Canada. Canada banks issue loans only to citizens. Please help. Well, if you are looking to study in the U.S., we could definitely have a loan for you. It just depends on what school you're going to be attending and if you have a cosigner, of course. So again, use our comparison tool on the website to find the school that you're looking for, eligible schools that you might want to apply for, so that you can apply for the loan that applies to your school. Jetty asks, I'm currently living in Columbia. I was wondering if I can still apply for a student loan before I get admitted to any of the universities from the U.S. The answer is yes, you can. You usually should be admitted and enrolled in your school when you apply, but you might be able to work with your lender and your school to be able to apply. The application, of course, can be turned in at any time, but the loan can't be finalized until you're enrolled in the school, because they have to certify the loan before you can get any funds. So check with your school and your lender on those details. Dembel says, hi, my name is Dembel and I'm an Ethiopian. I hold a bachelor's degree and master's degree in geography and environmental studies, both from Ethiopia. Would you please brief me about the loan and funding opportunities in the U.S.? We're glad you joined us, because that's what we're talking about today. If you plan on studying in the U.S., check out our eligible schools list. See the schools that are offering loans to students like you, and then you'll be able to apply accordingly, like we said. You will need the cosigner, of course. We also have some partner websites, international scholarships.com as well as IEFA.org. Those are some other resources for financial aid for studying in the U.S. for scholarships, grants, and things like that. So check those out too. And then, of course, use your loan resource when you get to that point, when you find a school in the U.S. Maria, thanks for submitting your question. She says, I'm a U.S. citizen and I have just finished my first year of 3 years at King's College of London. I've spent lots of time looking for loans to pay my education in the UK, but haven't found much. Are there any loans available to undergraduate students in my situation? Maria, because you're a U.S. citizen, there are things called foreign enrolled loans. So if your school is or has been accredited by the Department of Education, because it's an international college, as long as you are enrolled as a regular student there, there may be loans available for you. So also on our site, we have listed eligible foreign schools as well. So check to see if your school is on that list, or you can use the comparison tool as well to make it a little bit easier. See if your school is on the list, and we'll show you any lenders that are lending to students from that school, and that can be a good option for you. Oh, we just have a question that came in from Facebook from Guelson Jean-Louis. Can I get a loan? I'm Haitian, applying for a scholarship. I only need a financial loan to get that opportunity. Well, we're glad that you submitted your question as well. That's what we do. We try to find financial aid solutions for international students that want to study in the U.S. So as long as you have a U.S. cosigner, again, the cosigner has to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident living in the U.S. for at least the past 2 years with good credit. So that's your first step. As long as you've got that, you can apply for a school in the U.S. and then see what loans are available for them. So check out our website and you can see what you can find there. We have another question from Michael. He says, I'm currently living in Ghana. I have been admitted and I will be joining Mount Mercy University at Cedar Rapids. I want to know if I'm eligible for the loan, and I have a cosigner, and he is a citizen. Please brief me about the loan process. Well, thanks, Michael. Hopefully we've answered your question previously, but just to recap, unfortunately it sounds like Mount Mercy is not on the list of eligible schools, so we don't have a loan for you at this time. But be sure to check back, especially in July and August, when we have the most lenders available for different schools all throughout the U.S., so you can see if something's available then. Another question. Hello, my name is Vivek, and I'm a student of forensic sciences and want to get specifically into either the Pennsylvania University or the NYU for my master's program. What loan options are available? Same situation here. All of our eligible schools are listed on the website. So go to that eligible schools page, look for NYU or Pennsylvania University in that list, click on it and enter your information. It will show you all the lenders that are available for that school. So check that out or fill out that comparison loan tool on the homepage of the site. Let's see. This is another great question. Who is a cosigner? Now this is very important because everyone who wants to study in the U.S. as an international student, to get a loan, you will need to have a cosigner. Cosigners are usually friends and family members, someone close to you that is okay with taking on your financial burden if you cannot pay the loan yourself. They are going to have to submit personal documentation about their finances, etc. So it is someone who you can trust and who can trust you as well. You can check with friends and family members or other people that are on that sort of level with you. Just to emphasize what a cosigner needs to have, they must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident of the U.S. for at least the past 2 years and have a good credit score. We have another question from Craig. With the U.S. cosigner, can I secure a loan before entering the United States? I'd like to be financially secure before committing to complete my master's degree and travel to the States. Well, that's a great question. You can apply for the loan anywhere around the world. You don't have to be in the U.S. when you do so. Now, usually you will need to be admitted and enrolled into a school before the loan can be finalized, because the funds must be sent to the school and certified by the school before it can be finalized, so before you'll actually receive any of those funds. And depending on what you need the loan for example, if you're trying to apply for a visa and show proof of funds to be granted the visa, sometimes your school or your possible school can work with your consulate to allow to show an initial approval of your loan to them so that you can be granted a visa. But you'll just need to check with them. It's not always easy to do that. So in general, you should have a visa and be enrolled in your school prior to the loan being finalized. But you can apply anywhere around the world. Ashley says, I have been granted admission for the fall semester in 2014 as a freshman, and am due to receive my I-20 documents within the next couple of days. Do I require a loan before I will be granted a visa? Or do I need a visa before being granted a loan? Please help. This kind of goes right into what I was just talking about. Usually, to get your visa, you have to show proof of funds. Usually for your loan, you have to show that you have been granted a visa already. So it can be a catch-22 sometimes, but it's not impossible. Check with your consulate and the school that you plan to attend. Sometimes they can work something out to be able to accept a conditional approval of your loan to show those proof of funds. You'll just have to check with them to see if you can make it work. Alexi says, I didn't see my university in the tool, now what? Like I said, unfortunately, if your school is not listed in the tool, then we don't have any loans for that school at this time. But that doesn't mean that we won't in the future. So check back with us, and I emphasize July, August, September, because that's when we have the most lenders that are willing to lend to a lot more schools and give you the best interest rate during that time. So be sure to check back then and keep checking periodically, because when they come up, they'll be there on the tool as soon as they're available. Next question. Hello, I am an undergraduate in aerospace engineering from India. I am looking for an opportunity to get a master's degree in the U.S. What is the basic procedure to get a loan from USA Bank? Well, loans are available depending on the school that you go to. You will need a cosigner, you will need to find a lender that works with your school, and a lender that works with international students. So visit our website. We've got all the resources you need there, including this great tool that we've been talking about, where you can put in your information and find all the loans that are available for you. And that's a great place to start. So try there. And try throughout the summer too, as more lenders become available. Once you see the lenders that are available for you, be sure to compare the different lenders and the different loan terms and repayment terms, so you can find the loan that's best for you. You don't always just have one option, so be sure to compare those side by side and make the choice that's best for you. The next question, what are the interest rates for these loans? Is a good credit score sufficient for a cosigner, or should the cosigner show any property as collateral? That's a great question as well. Interest rates vary depending on the loan that you get, and it is determined a lot of times by the creditworthiness of your cosigner. So each loan being different, it will vary. So check with your lender for a range of interest rates that might be available to you. The cosigner can have a good credit score. Sometimes collateral is required, but not always. So the lender will contact you directly if those types of documents, collateral, is needed. They'll contact you directly and let you know that after you apply. Next, hi, my name's Dave. Does the cosigner's income level matter when getting an international student loan? I want to get the best rates possible. Also a great question. Thanks for submitting that. The way to get the best interest rate is to have a really, really good credit score, and you do have to show proof that you can repay the loan as the cosigner. So yes, you will have to show that you have the ability to pay back such a loan in the future if needed, if the student itself, if he or she cannot pay the loan back themselves. So as the cosigner, yes, you would be required to show proof of income and ways that you could pay the loan back. The next question, let's see. How can one get a cosigner? That's a great question too. It can be hard. It can be the hardest part of getting a loan, is finding someone that meets the criteria. The best way to go about it is to start with friends and family members that live in the U.S., are permanent residents, or are U.S. citizens, and to go from there. Like I said, it's got to be someone that is willing to take on a financial burden from you, so it's going to have to be someone that you trust and who trusts you, and so start with friends and family members, and then go from there. Maybe other people have suggestions for you. Let's see, next question. I'm currently in the U.S. but not a citizen. When I give information about some schools in New York and New Jersey, I see this message. The appearance of the name of the school does not constitute their endorsement of our private student loan. Does it mean I'm not eligible to get a loan? No, it does not mean that you're not eligible. All that message is saying is that we are not sponsored by that school specifically. The loans that we're showing you that are available, they are available for that school from that lender, and that lender has agreed to work with that school in this case. The school itself is not working with us directly for the loans. So it's an agreement between the lender and the school. And that's all that that's telling you. You're still eligible for the loan if there's an option there for you. Next question. I would like to apply for a loan as I applied for a registered nurse program. Kindly give me a link where I could apply, or let me know the procedure. Well, thanks for your question. You can apply for the loan on our website, and it's www.internationalstudentloan.com. Right there on the home page, you'll see our comparison tool on the right-hand side, along with a lot of resources to answer any questions you have about the loan. So go there. We're also posting resources all the time on our social media feeds. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, so you can find us there and keep up to date with all the loan information. Next question is from Jeremiah, and he says, "Hi, I'm Jeremy." Hi, Jeremy. I would like to know if there are banks in Omaha, Nebraska who give loans to international students at any university in Omaha. It depends. It depends on the school. The way you can find those schools is by going to our eligible schools list, looking in Nebraska specifically for a school that you're interested in attending in Nebraska. And from there, you can see if there's any lenders available for those schools. So I encourage you to do that on our website. Next question. What are the options of private scholarships in the U.S. for international students? My son got a $24,000 annual scholarship from the university, but the cost of attendance is $50,000 annually. We want an additional loan or scholarship from a private source. We do have a lot of resources for scholarships and for other international financial aid. Those two sites are IEFA.org. It stands for International Education Financial Aid. That's a .org, and then our other partner site, which is www.internationalscholarships.com. You can find a lot of different information there for scholarships and other financial aid all around the U.S. and for different schools. So I encourage you to use those resources as well, and especially before applying for a loan. Next question is from Alaya. She says, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm graduating from high school this upcoming June. Congratulations. I want to attend Dow International in Pakistan. Please let me know if I'm eligible for the student loan. Well, that's a great question, and because you're a U.S. citizen, you do have the option to get a foreign enrolled student loan. A foreign enrolled loan is for you U.S. citizens that want to study outside of the U.S. You must be enrolled in that school as a regular student and have a degree plan, or be enrolled to pursue a full program to graduate eventually. And if you are, your school has to be an eligible school as well. It has to be accredited by the Department of Education. So again, go to our website. We have a list of all of the international schools that are accredited that we can offer loans to. And go onto the website. You can find a list of all of them. If your school isn't in the list, unfortunately, we don't have any loans for it at this time. But like I said, we usually we're constantly receiving new lenders, and new schools are getting approved all the time. So check back with us frequently to see if there's anything available for your school later on. Okay, next question. Let's see. I'm an international student already in the USA and have admission to the University of Rochester. My cosigner is neither a U.S. citizen nor a permanent resident. He is on an H-1B visa in the USA. Can I still get a loan? Well, an H-1B visa is different from a permanent resident, and unfortunately, a cosigner does need to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the U.S. So as soon as he applies for that permanent residency, he may be a good option to be a cosigner. He would have to be in the U.S. for at least the past 2 years, and he has to have a good credit score. So until he becomes a permanent resident, he's actually not qualified to be a cosigner at this time. Let's see what else we have here. I'm wondering, do the loans cover in universities outside the States, even though I'm an American with my Social Security, but never lived in the States for more than 2 years? Yes, because you are a U.S. citizen, you can apply as a U.S. citizen for a U.S. loan. To study abroad. You have to meet the same requirements. It would be considered a foreign enrolled loan. So your school would have to be on the eligible schools list and be approved by the Department of Education in the U.S. But you would qualify for that as a U.S. citizen, and you could apply with your Social Security number. Marjorie says, I'm Brazilian and intend to attend college in the U.S. What is the procedure to get a loan? When should I apply for a loan? Before the college acceptance or after? The best time to apply is after you've been accepted into your school, because the loan process includes your school specifically. There are different lenders for different schools, so you'll want to apply with a lender that works with your school specifically. And then when throughout the application process and for your loan to be finalized, it will have to be done through the school. The funds are always sent directly to the school, so you need to be enrolled in that school for that to happen, so your loan can be finalized. Dembel says, I'm an Ethiopian. I have graduated in a bachelor's and master's program in geography and environmental studies. So I want to apply for another master's program in the U.S. Well, that's great, and you do have a lot of options. As long as you have a cosigner, like we've been saying, depending on the school that you want to go to, there may or may not be a loan available for you. So check out our comparison tool on the website. See if there's lenders available for your school, and then you can apply directly from there for an international student loan. You can also check out our other sites for scholarship information and financial aid information. Let's see what other questions we have here. One from Stephanie. She says, hello, my name is Stephanie and I'm from Florida, but I will be attending an American university in Italy. Am I eligible for this loan, and would I need a cosigner? How does it all work? Well, thanks, Stephanie. Because you're a U.S. cosigner, you still have the option to apply for a foreign enrolled loan. Your school will need to be approved by the Department of Education, and if it's an American university, then it has a good chance of being on our list. So go ahead and check that out on the website, look for the school, and if it is on the list, then you can search and find all the lenders that are lending for that school right now. So check that out. You don't have to have a cosigner for those loans because you are a U.S. citizen, but it can be better to add a cosigner, like a parent, onto that loan to get a better interest rate and to be more likely to be approved for that loan as well. But you're not required to have one to apply. Next question. Hi, I have given an acceptance. I have been given an acceptance to the University of Buffalo for my undergraduate studies. I would like to know what's the procedure, if eligible, for applying and getting an international student loan. Great. Well, first, check for the University of Buffalo in our eligible schools list, or fill out the loan comparison tool on the website, and they'll show you all the lenders that are lending to that school right now. If there's none, check back with us, like I said, at the end of the summer, and you'll see all of your options there, and you can apply directly with them. It really is that easy. So, and that's the beauty of our comparison tool that we put together. It's the first of its kind for international students, and it works really well. You can get all of your information right away. So be sure to check that out. Next question. Universities that I have admitted to, they have enrollment dates open for classes early next month. Can I get lenders and good interest rates in June, or should I wait till July? My cosigner is not a citizen, but he is an H-1B and has been living here since 2009. Well, let me get to your first question first. Your classes are starting next month, so you can definitely apply now. As long as there's a lender available for you, you don't need to wait. It's best to apply for the loan at least 6 weeks in advance to make sure that everything can be processed in a timely fashion, so you can pay for it and enroll in your classes on time. But you can do that right away. Your cosigner, being an H-1B visa holder, is not qualified as a cosigner. He would have to be a permanent resident of the U.S. before he could do that. Let's see, here's another question. I'm an architect student in Morocco, and I really want to continue my studies after 2 years in the U.S. I can't afford it. Is there any chance I can get a scholarship paying everything in this field specifically? If yes, what are the conditions? Well, there's always scholarships available for different amounts. Nothing is going to guarantee you a full ride into any university. But check out www.internationalscholarships.com, and you can search for all the scholarships that are available for international students all over the U.S. and apply to them accordingly. And they can add up and really help you reach your educational goals. And scholarships you don't have to pay back, so that's a good idea. So that's www.internationalscholarships.com. Deborah asks, it looks like you already answered my question, but my computer went cold. That's okay. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate that. Can you help international students that want to study outside the U.S. if we have a cosigner that is a U.S. resident? Yes. Oh, wait. It sounds like, so you're an international student that wants to study elsewhere, not in the United States. Unfortunately, our loans are for either U.S. citizens studying outside of the U.S. or international students that want to come into the U.S. To study. So unfortunately, no, international students studying in other parts of the world aren't qualified. Let's see. Okay, we're getting more questions in from Facebook. That's great, guys. Thanks for friending us on there. Renee says, hello, thanks for giving us all that information. I'm an overseas student and I have an offer from the University of Westminster in Massachusetts, and hopefully I will be getting the scholarship soon. I am wondering if I can get a student loan. Great question, and I'm glad you've maximized your scholarships. Now it's time to look for a loan, so you've definitely come to the right place. First step, go to our homepage, fill out the comparison tool right there on the right-hand side for your school, and we'll give you a list of all the lenders that are lending to that school. Compare those loans side by side to pick the one that's best for you, and then you can apply for them right away. Again, if there's nothing for you up there now, check back in June and August and September when there's more and more lenders willing to lend to international students. Let's see. One more question here. We've got, what is a rough estimate of an interest rate for a loan? Well, it really depends on the lender and the type of loan that you get. So it's really, it's too hard to say. You need to check with your lender specifically for those exact rates because they can really vary depending on your cosigner's creditworthiness and ability to pay back the loan, etc. And it's a complicated thing sometimes. So check with your lender directly. Next question. Hi, can a U.S. permanent resident be a cosigner? And it's a perfect question, and the answer is yes. They just need to be living in the U.S. for at least the past 2 years and have a good credit history. So keep that in mind. Let's see what else we have here. Please, how can I get financial aid to finish my studies? I am going to my final year next semester but have no funds. I do not plan to take any or stop school. That's a good idea. I'm a student at Middlesex University. Well, you do have some options. Like I said, International Student Loan offers a lot of different loans for a lot of different schools. So check to see if your school is on the list. Also check, our scholarship site, internationalscholarships.com, as well as IEFA.org to see all the financial aid information that's available for you, and try to get somewhere that way. It can be a huge help when funding your education. Let's see. What should I do if there's no friends or family living in the U.S.? How can I get a cosigner? Well, it can be hard to find a cosigner if you don't have any relations in the U.S. It's all about who you know. So you can ask people that, even if they're not related to you, if they're willing to take on some sort of financial burden for you. You just have to make sure it's someone you trust and who trusts you and is willing to do that for you. It can be a hard thing if you don't know anyone in the U.S. Let's see. What are some things that a student could tell the cosigner to persuade them to become a cosigner? Well, the best thing is to be honest with them and let them know what kind of responsibility they're taking on. It's a very serious conversation, so must be addressed in a very professional, outgoing way. And you'll need to show that you're a serious student and let them know that you understand their responsibilities and that you're happy to be that you'd be happy to have them as a cosigner. Let's see, we have another question here. What's the web address of the site? The site is www.internationalstudentloan.com. So be sure to check us out as soon as the hangout's over. So we have about 5 minutes left if you want to submit any additional questions, and we'll hang on here so you can do that and answer anything that you have left. If you don't have anything now, or you have questions later that you can't think of now, go to our hashtag on Twitter, Financial Aid Talk, and we are always answering questions there for anyone who has them. 24/7, send us a question, and we can always answer you later on. Also, be sure to friend us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus while you're already there, and we're always putting up more new resources, answering students' questions, and keeping you up to date on anything financial aid. Let's see, some more Facebook questions coming in. Daniel says, can you collaborate with me to be a cosigner? Oh, can you connect me to one of the cosigners? Sorry about that. Well, we don't have any connections to any cosigners. It's really a personal responsibility that falls on the student, and you'll need to find one of those on your own. Usually it's a personal relationship between you, your family member, or a close friend in the U.S. So we unfortunately don't have cosigners available here. Carrie Ann, thanks for submitting your question. What effect will it have on the cosigner if they want to do other business while they are being a cosigner while I am attending school? Well, the loan will go on the cosigner's credit history just like it will yours. The loan will show up whenever whenever their credit history is requested. So it will be shown as a debt on their credit history as a cosigner. So it affects them the same as it would be if they were taking out their own loan. So that is something to consider. Miguel says, with how much anticipation should I start applying and getting involved with the process before planning on receiving the loan? You probably want to start applying for the loan at least 6 weeks before you plan on enrolling for classes. It takes at least that long to be approved for the loan, and a lot of people prepare even sooner than that so that you can make travel arrangements and be prepared since you're going to an international country. Let's see, you'll receive the actual funds after they're dispersed to your school, after your classes have actually started. So keep that in mind as well. Loans can't usually be used for travel expenses or anything to the new country because you receive the actual funds after your classes have started. So keep that in mind. Rosina says, I have asked a bank manager. He told me that they don't provide loans to international students. So where do we need to take loans from? I'm in India and planning to do medicine in India and a master's in the USA. I have a cosigner in the USA. Well, great. Since you already have a cosigner, that's the hardest part. So you're on the right track. The next thing you need to do is use our comparison tool on our website. I'll repeat that website again. It's www.internationalstudentloan.com. Right there on the home page, you can fill out the form there, and it will find all of the lenders that are available for your school. Or you can go straight to our eligible schools page and look for your school specifically to see if there's any lenders available for your school as well. It's all up on our website, so that's your next step. Let's see, a lot of questions coming in. I don't have a social security number at the moment. I believe I cannot register. Well, don't worry. Just because you don't have a social security number does not mean that you're not eligible for the loan. Some of the lenders' applications online require a social security number, and in that case, you just want to give your lender a call and ask them for a paper application or other type of application that allows you to submit without putting a social security number. You will need a cosigner on the application as well, but you yourself don't have to have a social security number. So just contact your lender about that. Sammy says, what is the typical interest rate in the U.S.? I am from Germany, and the interest rate is usually between 3 and 5%. Is it cheaper here? It really depends on your loan. Federal student loans for U.S. citizens are sometimes between 1 and 2 and 3%. For graduate students, they're a lot more than that. It's a lot higher. You'll just need to check with your lender to see what it is. International student loans are private, so they're always higher than the federal loans that a U.S. citizen would get. But you need to check with your lender for that information. It can always be different. It depends on the situation of your cosigner and their credit worthiness. Let's see, can I apply for a loan without any interest as an international student with a cosigner in the USA? Basically, your interest is the cost of the loan for you, and you're not going to find any loans that don't have an interest rate unless you're looking for a scholarship or something, some type of free money that you don't have to pay back. But when you're looking for a loan, that is something that has to be repaid and always has an interest rate associated with it. Okay, one more question here. Hello, I've been accepted in the Wheeling Jesuit University with a 60% scholarship, but I need a loan to pay the rest. My older sister is a citizen and she can be my cosigner. I just want to know the process I have to follow. That's great. As long as your sister is a good cosigner and meets all the requirements, then you're well on your way. Check our eligible schools list, fill out that form on the homepage of our site to see what loans are available at Wheeling Jesuit, and it'll give you a list of all the lenders that are there for you. If there's nothing there right now, like I said, check back at the June, July, August, September. There's always more coming in, so be sure to check periodically to see what's available for you to choose the best loan that's for you as well. Okay, let's see, what else? Hi, I want to go to Cooney, New York, but whenever I try to look for a loan, it shows this message. Based on the information you provided, we are unable to match you with a private loan. What does that mean? Well, that message means that we don't have any lenders lending to that school right now. But not to worry. We might have a lender for you later in the summer. So be sure to check back every now and then. If there's a lender that's willing to lend to the school, the time to check would be July or August. And they'll be up on the site as soon as they're available for you for loans for that school. Let's see, here's another one. Hi, my husband is on H-1B visa. He has been here for 3 years. Does he qualify as a permanent resident? Permanent residency has to be applied for, and it's basically a green card. So it allows the person to act as a U.S. citizen while they're in the U.S. and stay permanently. You would need to apply for that through your consulate, meeting certain requirements. And we do have some more information about that on our website too. So check out our resources page for more information about that. What is the difference between the fixed and variable rate loans? Well, a fixed rate loan has an interest rate that does not change. A variable rate loan interest rate can vary and change throughout the terms of the loan. So that's the main difference. We've also got these and other insurance types interest related terms up on the website as well. There's a whole tab up on that homepage called resources, so check that out. There's a lot of different information related to that, frequently asked questions, etc. And some other hangouts that we've done in the past, so you might be interested in watching some of those older ones to get more information. And some of them are very targeted specifically about cosigners, specifically about interest rates and things like that, so be sure to check those out on our resources page. Okay, here's some more questions. What happens if someone can't pay back the loan? If you, as the student, can't repay your loan, your cosigner becomes responsible for it. So they would have to pay for it for you. So that's why it's such a huge responsibility to find a cosigner and for them to do that for you. It's very, it can affect them a lot if they have to be paying thousands of dollars back for you. So keep that in mind when choosing one of your cosigners. What are the requirements for a cosigner? Great question. Everyone needs to know this, and I know I keep repeating it, but we definitely want every student to know, what they're looking for when they're looking for a cosigner. So what they need to be is a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident. They have to have lived in the United States for at least the past 2 years, and they have to have a good credit score. So those are the requirements. Let's see, Corinne says, I'm a citizen and resident of Armenia. Are there any options for me to get a loan to study in the UK? Unfortunately, we don't offer any loans for international students who are not coming to the US to study. The loans that we have are for U.S. citizens studying abroad or studying internationally, or for international students coming into the U.S. We don't have anything right now for international students studying in other places, so unfortunately. Will this video be available after the live presentation? Great question, and yes, you can always watch this video right on our Google Plus page. It's also on our YouTube channel, and we will post it to the resources tab of internationalstudentloan.com, so you can watch it at any time to get this information again. If we answered your question during the broadcast, you can click directly on your question and it will forward the video directly to when we answered it as well. So it's kind of a cool addition to the Hangout. So be sure to do that if we answered your question today. There's a few more questions, and we'll get to those. I'm looking to enroll in September of 2015. When should I submit a loan application? You can submit your loan application at any time. I would recommend at least 6 weeks before you enroll in the school, but really at any time, and you can apply from anywhere in the world. Which is the best to go for, the fixed rate or the variable rate loan? The variable rate loans can be a little ambiguous because you don't know, what the rate will be, and you definitely, when you're working with a loan that's accruing interest for years and years, you definitely want to be aware of the amount that you're going to have to pay back in the end, because you do have to repay all of the money back plus the interest on the loans. So a fixed rate loan is always a better option. You know what you're getting into and it's not going to change throughout the life of the loan. Does receiving a student loan depend only on your academic performance, or extracurricular activities are also taken into consideration? Actually, your academic performance and your extracurricular activities are not taken into account at all when you apply for an international student loan. Those are often taken into account when you apply for an international scholarship, for example, or a grant, or especially when you're applying to a university or a college. They really look at those things specifically. But the loan itself is more concerned about your ability to repay that loan and your credit worthiness. So as far as the loan goes, those won't be taken into account at all. Let's see, we have time for just a couple more. Prasanna, she says, is this possible only if you have a U.S. cosigner? And yes, that is true. If you're an international student looking to study inside the U.S., then yes, you must have a U.S. cosigner. So there's no getting around it. There's no other way. Let's see. How can I get more funding when I have 50% tuition fee scholarship for my master's degree? Great question, and you've come to the right place. Internationalstudentloan.com will show you your loan options depending on the school that you're going to, and you can apply for a loan for the total amount of your education minus other financial aid that you've received. So basically, you could get that entire 50% that you're missing in a student loan, as long as there's a lender for that school and that lender works with international students. So by using that comparison tool on the website, you'll be able to find all those lenders right away that are working for your school. Let's see, what is a good credit score? Different credit bureaus list credit scores in different types of ways, and they qualify your scores in different ways as well. So you can look up the 3 major credit bureaus online to find out what those are, because they're not always the same. And different lenders evaluate credit scores in different ways as well, so keep that in mind. Hi, my name is Limi. Is there any age restriction for students to get the loan? What are the paper requirements for getting the loan, and can you tell me all the details? Well, there's no age restriction as long as you've got the cosigner. You will have to, as an international student, you don't have to be a college or a university student, but you do have to have the cosigner and the ability to repay the loan with that cosigner too. So you would be eligible at any age. What are the paper requirements? You fill out the application, and then if there's any other documentation that's required, the lender will come to you directly and ask for additional documentation, but it's not always required. So the first step is filling out that online application that you'll find right from our website, and then if anything else is required, they'll let you know. But just for now, you can do it all online. Let's see. Oh, and also, there will be some additional documentation once you are conditionally approved for the loan. That is true, and usually that's done. You can sign online, submit things by email, and then when your loan is finalized, you'll need to sign your promissory note as well. So, but that's later on in the process. The application itself can be done all online from our website. Let's see. Can you list more lenders other than Discover or Sallie Mae for international student loans? And that depends on your school. So if your school is showing those two lenders, then those are the only lenders that will work for your school. And that's what the tool does for you. So depending on the school you go to, it gives you the list of all the lenders that are available. Again, check back in July, August, or September. There's always more lenders coming on for different schools. So check that out. Is there a maximum amount available for the loan? Yes, you can apply for a loan for up to the total cost of your education, the total cost of your education is determined by your school specifically, so check with your school to see what that amount is. And that is minus any other financial aid that you've received. So if you've received a scholarship for 50% of your total education costs, your loan could potentially be the other 50%. How important is the applicant's own creditworthiness? It's very, very important. Whether or not you have a cosigner, everything's taken into account. Your own abilities to repay the loan as well as your cosigners. When you have a cosigner, it's not as important because the cosigner takes on a lot of your responsibility, but it is taken into account. So if you have credit in the United States, they will see that and they will be evaluating it. Let's see, a couple more. How long is the processing time? Once you apply from the website, it usually takes about 6 weeks for the entire process. And then your loans will be distributed directly to your school. And then your school distributes anything remaining back to you. So that's typically how you get your funds. And so give at least 6 weeks for the whole process to take place before you're enrolled in your classes. Okay, so we're running out of time. We've had a ton of questions from you guys, and you guys have been great. I know we haven't been able to get to all of them, but don't worry, we want to answer every question that's coming through. So if you asked a question, we didn't get to it, we will answer it on our Google Plus page or on our hashtag Financial Aid Talk right after the Hangout's over. And we want to, again, thank you for joining us. Be sure, again, to friend us on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook for more information. We do Hangouts like this all the time, so we want you back for our next one, and we definitely want to hear from you. If you have any questions about the comparison tool, you can always send it to us via the hashtag or on any of our social media channels, and we're always happy to help you. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.